Imagine, you're completely alone and survival is entirely up to you. Your first 72 hours are critical. This is the time when you must establish control over your situation, and it starts with avoiding panic. Mental clarity is your number one survival tool. It allows you to make sound, rational decisions even under extreme pressure. In the earliest moments of a survival situation, it's essential to conduct an immediate assessment of your supplies, shelter, and vulnerabilities. This means taking stock of what you have on hand: food, water, medical supplies, tools, and any other resources that could be useful. Don't forget to evaluate your shelter. Is it secure? Can it withstand the elements? Can it protect you from potential threats? And speaking of threats, even when you're alone, they still exist. You may not have to contend with other people, but you could face dangers from animals, environmental hazards, or unforeseen circumstances. That's why it's crucial to set up early warning signals. These could be anything from strategically placed tripwires to noise-making devices. They'll give you a heads up if something or someone is approaching your shelter, giving you valuable time to prepare. But remember, all this preparation will be for naught if you let panic or fear cloud your judgment. It's normal to feel scared or overwhelmed, but you can't let those feelings control you. Instead, use them as motivation to stay focused, stay proactive, and stay alive. Without water, you won't last a week. So, how do you achieve water independence? The key is to find, purify, and store water. There's water all around us. In the ground, in the air, even in the plants. You just need to know how to access it. Digging a well, for instance, can provide a constant source of water. But remember, not all water is safe to drink straight from the source. So you'll need to purify it. Purification can be done through boiling, chemical treatment, or filtration. Boiling is the simplest and most reliable method. Bring your water to a rolling boil for a full minute to kill any harmful bacteria or parasites. Chemical treatment involves using substances like iodine or chlorine to kill off any germs. Be careful though, as these can alter the taste and aren't suitable for everyone. But what if you don't have access to a heat source or chemicals? That's where DIY filtration systems come in. You can create your own filter using layers of sand, charcoal, and gravel. This won't kill bacteria, but it'll remove larger particles and improve the taste. Rainwater harvesting is another great way to secure a water source. Setting up a simple system using gutters and barrels can capture this precious resource. Just remember to cover your barrels to prevent mosquitoes from breeding and to filter the water before drinking. Storing water is just as important. You'll need a safe, clean container that can be sealed to prevent contamination. And don't forget to rotate your supply to keep it fresh. Water is vital for hydration, but it's also crucial for hygiene and cooking. Dehydration can sneak up on you, especially in extreme conditions. So make sure you're drinking enough, but also conserving when necessary. Water is life. Ensuring a sustainable supply is your top priority. Remember, in a survival situation, your ingenuity is just as important as your preparedness. So stay adaptable, stay resourceful, and most importantly, stay hydrated. Food stockpiles won't last forever. What's your next move? Let's dive into the art of rationing. It's not about surviving on a minimal amount, but rather stretching your resources to their maximum potential. Think of your food supplies as your fuel. The trick is to consume just enough to keep your body functioning optimally, without depleting your reserves too fast. Now, you may be wondering what foods can last long-term without refrigeration. Well, there are quite a few. Dried beans, rice, powdered milk, honey, and hardtack biscuits are some of the staples that have stood the test of time. These foods are nutrient-dense, require minimal preparation, and can be stored for years if kept in airtight containers and away from moisture. But what happens when these run out? That's where foraging, trapping, and fishing come into play. These are practical skills that can secure food when you're isolated. Foraging can provide you with a variety of edible plants, berries, and nuts. Just remember, safety first. Always double-check that what you're about to consume is indeed edible. Trapping and fishing require a bit more effort, but can provide you with a significant source of protein. You don't need fancy equipment. Simple traps and fishing lines can be made from materials found in your surroundings like branches, vines, or even shoelaces. But let's not forget about farming. If you have access to arable land, even a small garden can provide a significant amount of food. Start with easy-to-grow crops like potatoes or beans. As you gain experience, you can expand your garden to include a variety of fruits and vegetables. Remember, the key to self-sufficient food strategies is diversity. Don't rely on just one method. Experiment, learn, and adapt. The more skills you master, the higher your chances of securing a sustainable food source. With the right strategies, you can secure a reliable food source even in isolation. When you're alone, you are your own defense. How do you keep safe from threats? In the realm of survival, the greatest danger may not always be a lack of resources, but rather other people. In desperate times, desperate measures are taken, and those measures can sometimes involve taking from those who have. It's an unfortunate truth, but it's also a reality that must be faced. Your first line of defense is to fortify your shelter. This doesn't mean building a fortress, but rather making your safe haven as secure as possible. Reinforce entry points, create escape routes, and establish a safe room if feasible. Securing your shelter isn't just about keeping threats out, it's also about ensuring you have a way out if the need arises. Camouflage is another key aspect to consider. The best way to avoid a threat is to remain unseen. Incorporate your surroundings into your shelter design, use natural materials, and avoid drawing attention to your location. Remember, out of sight, out of mind. This brings us to the next point, defense weapons. In a world where noise can attract unwanted attention, silent weapons are your best bet. Bows, crossbows, slingshots, and knives can be effective and quiet defense tools. These weapons require practice, but mastering them can mean the difference between life and death. Lastly, always remember that your greatest weapon is your mind. Use it to think strategically, to plan, to anticipate. A well-thought-out defense strategy can deter threats and keep you safe. However, it's important to remember that every situation is unique. What works in one scenario may not work in another. Always stay adaptable, always stay alert. Injuries and illnesses are inevitable. How do you handle them when there's no doctor around? It's a chilling question, but one that must be asked. In a survival scenario, medical aid is often the dividing line between life and death. First things first, you need to know the basics of first aid. This includes how to clean and dress wounds, how to perform CPR, and how to recognize and treat symptoms of common illnesses. Sure, these aren't flashy survival skills like starting a fire with flint or hunting game, but they're equally vital. Let's say you cut yourself while chopping wood. Without proper care, that wound can become infected, leading to severe complications, even death. So, you clean it thoroughly using boiled water, then dress it with a clean cloth, and if available, apply an antibiotic ointment. But what about illnesses? You can't exactly stitch up a fever or bandage a cough. In these cases, prevention is better than cure. Good hygiene practices like regular hand washing can keep many illnesses at bay. And if you do get sick, knowing how to treat common ailments can be a lifesaver. For instance, diarrhea, though often overlooked, is a serious threat in survival situations. It leads to dehydration and can be deadly if not treated promptly. Rehydrate often, and if possible, prepare a simple rehydration solution with water, sugar, and salt. Don't forget about dental health either. Toothaches can escalate quickly without proper care, and in a survival situation, you don't have the luxury of a dentist's chair. Regular brushing, even with just water, can prevent many dental issues. Remember, in a survival scenario, you are your own doctor. Having a well-stocked first aid kit is essential, but knowing how to use it is even more critical. Educate yourself, practice these skills, and maintain a high standard of personal hygiene. This isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. In the grand scheme of survival, your body is your most important tool, and taking care of it is paramount. Your health is your wealth. Even more so in survival situations. Learn first aid, stay clean, stay alive. The elements can be your worst enemy. How do you survive them alone? Let's start with the brutal reality. Exposure to extreme temperatures can be a swift and merciless killer. Whether the biting cold or the scorching heat, both can drain your energy, damage your body, and impair your judgment. But fear not, with the right strategy, you can outsmart Mother Nature. First things first, you need to create a shelter. Not just any shelter, but an insulated one. It's not about creating a 5-star hotel suite, but a refuge that keeps you warm in the cold, cool in the heat, and dry in the rain. And it doesn't take much. Fallen branches, leaves, and even snow can be used to build an effective shelter. Remember, small is good. A smaller space is easier to warm with your body heat alone. Now let's talk about fire. Fire is not just about warmth. It provides light, allows you to cook food, purify water, and ward off predators. It's your beacon of hope in the dark wilderness. But starting a fire isn't always as easy as striking a match. Wet conditions, gusty winds, or a lack of materials can turn this simple task into a Herculean challenge. So, what's the secret to starting a fire in unfavorable conditions? It's all about preparation and persistence. Gather dry wood and kindling where you can find it, under fallen trees or inside hollow logs. And if everything is soaked through, you can use certain types of bark or even your own clothing as kindling. Carry a fire starter kit with you, but also learn the traditional methods like the bow drill or flint and steel. Remember, fire needs 3 things: heat, fuel, and oxygen. Remove one, and the fire dies. The elements can be brutal, but with the right knowledge, you can turn them into your allies. Remember, survival isn't about strength, it's about strategy. So be smart, be prepared, and you can survive the elements alone. Isolation can be a silent killer. How do you fight it? This is a question that may linger in your mind when you find yourself alone in a survival situation. You see, the psychological impact of isolation can be as detrimental as the physical challenges you face. But don't lose hope just yet. First, establish a routine. The structure will give you a sense of control and purpose, making your days less daunting. Next, keep your mind busy. This could involve anything from solving puzzles to planning your next survival strategy. Remember to take care of your mental health. Practice mindfulness or meditation to keep stress levels in check. It's crucial to stay positive and maintain a fighting spirit. Moreover, don't let paranoia creep in. Rational thinking is your best ally. Make careful decisions, and avoid impulsive actions that could jeopardize your survival. Your mental health is as important as your physical health. Stay strong, stay sane, stay alive. Survival is a marathon, not a sprint. How do you prepare for the long haul? In the realm of survival, time is your most valuable asset and your greatest enemy. It's not enough to simply survive today or tomorrow or even next week. You must be prepared to endure for months, even years. To do this, you'll need to establish a permanent off-grid survival system. This means becoming self-sufficient in every sense of the word. You'll need to secure your own food, water, and shelter without relying on the conveniences of modern society. Now let's talk about food. The reality of growing your own food is that it requires a significant amount of land and effort. A single person will need at least half an acre to grow enough food for a year. That's a lot of space and a lot of work, but it's not impossible. With the right tools and knowledge, you can cultivate a garden that will sustain you for the long term. Of course, farming isn't the only way to secure food. Hunting, fishing, and foraging can also provide valuable sustenance. Just remember, these activities require skills and knowledge that must be learned and practiced. Water is another critical component of long-term survival. Rainwater harvesting systems, wells, and even solar stills can provide a reliable source of clean water. Again, these methods require planning and effort, but they're well worth it. And then there's shelter. Your survival shelter needs to be more than just a temporary refuge from the elements. It needs to be a home. This means it should be comfortable, secure, and sustainable. Consider incorporating renewable energy sources like solar or wind power, and always have a plan for maintaining and repairing your shelter. But remember, preparation isn't just about gathering supplies and honing skills, it's also about mindset. You need to be ready to adapt, to learn, and to endure. Long-term survival isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It's a test of will, resilience, and ingenuity. Survival is about endurance. Plan for months, not days, and you'll increase your chances of making it through.